How's it going, everyone? I hope you are all doing well. So, the brand new Pokemon Pokopia just dropped, and honestly, it's probably one of the weirdest Pokemon games that we've gotten in a very long time. And after spending a few hours with it, I already have a lot of thoughts. So, this game is very cozy and it's very charming, but it's also one of the most unexpected directions that the Pokemon series has gone in a while. So, what even is Pokopia? Well, if you haven't seen anything about this game yet, Pokopia is basically Pokemon's take on the life sim genre. Think Animal Crossing mixed with a little bit of Minecraft. Instead of the usual become the best trainer, collect badges, battle the Elite Four, this game is about building a world for Pokemon to live in. You play as a Ditto that's disguised as a human, and your whole goal is to rebuild this abandoned environment and slowly turn it into a paradise where Pokemon can thrive, which is already such a strange but interesting premise. There's no gyms, no competitive battling, it's just you, a bunch of Pokemon, and a world you slowly shape over time. And honestly, that's incredibly refreshing. So the first hour of this game really sets the tone for everything. You wake up in this pretty empty, quiet world, and the environment feels very peaceful, but also very lonely. But then you slowly start meeting new Pokemon, and instead of catching them like usual, you befriend them, kind of like the mystery dungeon games in that sense. Each Pokemon basically teaches you abilities that help you interact with the world. For example, Bulbasaur can help you grow plants, Squirtle can water crops, other Pokemon help with cutting trees or breaking rocks, so instead of tools like a pickaxe or watering can, you're literally using Pokemon moves to build and restore the environment around you, and I really love that idea. It feels very Pokemon in a way that makes the world truly feel alive. Now, this game definitely has that cozy game energy that a lot of people are looking for. The best way I can describe Pokopia is, like I said before, imagine if Pokemon crossed over with Animal Crossing, or even kind of like Stardew Valley in a sense. You gather resources, you craft furniture, you plant crops, and you build habitats for Pokemon. Over time, more Pokemon show up and start living in your world. It's a very slow but relaxing gameplay loop. You're not rushing through battles or grinding levels, you're just building a place that feels alive and beautiful. And honestly, that's kind of a perfect just combination for a chill Pokemon game like this one. Another thing that I noticed pretty quickly is that the game really encourages exploration. Different Pokemon show up depending on how you shape the environment. So if you plant more trees, certain forest Pokemon might move in. If you add water features, water Pokemon might appear. It's almost like you're designing ecosystems, and that's something that the Pokemon series has never really leaned into before. Usually Pokemon games are more about collecting Pokemon, but this game is more about creating a world where they would want to live in. And that's a really cool twist on the usual formula that we're used to. Now, one thing I'm still forming an opinion on is the interactions with the Pokemon themselves. They're charming for sure, but watching Pokemon walk around your town and interact with things is cute, but so far the personalities do feel a little bit simple. It's still early on in my playthrough though, so that might open up more as you unlock more Pokemon and story moments. It's just a little bit disappointing in comparison to like the Animal Crossing personalities where they each have very strong personalities and it's really joyful talking with them. This game definitely misses the mark on that just so far from what I've seen. But even in these early hours, there is something really satisfying about seeing your world slowly fill up with life over time. So after a few hours, my impression of Pokemon Pokopia is honestly pretty positive. It's definitely not a traditional Pokemon game, but that's kind of the point. It feels like Pokemon is experimenting with something new. It's a cozy life sim where the goal isn't to become champion, it isn't to catch a bunch of Pokemon, it's just to build a world where Pokemon would actually want to live in. And if the rest of the game keeps building on that idea, I think this could definitely end up being one of the most unique Pokemon spin-offs that we've gotten in the past, and definitely just a really great one. Now, of course, if you are not really interested in Pokemon and you're not a big fan of the life sim games or the slower paced games, then obviously this game is probably not your speed. But really, those are just my first impressions of the game so far. I've really only scratched the surface of the game just in these few hours that I've had to play it. So I'm really curious to see how the late game opens up, what kind of Pokemon show up later, and how crazy the building systems can actually get here. If you've already started playing Pokemon Pokopia, then please let me know what you think so far. I really like to see, what other opinions are out there on this game. And if you want to see more videos like this, maybe I will do a full review once I've spent more time with the game. But hey, thank you so much for joining me on my first steps into this new world, and I'll see you in the next one.